Okay, so as you would know if you watched my previous video, I just did a review on the Asus Google Nexus 7, which is, well, my favourite tablet on the market at the moment. I've played with the Nexus 10 and I find that it's a bit too big. I prefer a 7-inch tablet. It's brilliant for when I'm at university and it's great for what I need it for. But today I am doing my review of my case which I have for my Nexus 7. This is it. It is called the Poetic Slimline case for the Nexus 7, and it's a pretty good case. I found it's pretty solidly made. It definitely protects my Nexus, but it's not the best. It's not the most well built case I've ever seen in my entire life. Certainly, my brother has a iPad and his smart cover is a lot more rugged than this is. So I'll just give you a look around. It's available on Amazon at the moment for, I believe, £19. So it's got a hole in the bottom and the back. This is, well, I don't know whether it's actually real leather. No, it's just a plastic leather-like. It's very grippy. It's brilliant for stopping it from slipping out your hand. This cover is covered in this all over. It's got this sort of plastic. If you notice here, this is all plastic around the edge to make it stronger, and it's got this sort of plastic cutout at the back here for where the speaker goes, so it doesn't muffle the speaker. Obviously it's got no rear mounted camera, so it doesn't have a camera hole. It does have these two holes here in the plastic on the right hand side, which are for the power and volume rocker. However, these holes do make it quite difficult to press those buttons, especially from the front. It might be due to the way that Asus have mounted the buttons on the rear part of the device rather than the front part of the device, but it is annoying, and they could have designed it better. They could have just put plastic extender buttons on it so that it's more easy to press, but they obviously decided against that, probably for the protection of the buttons. But I don't think it's brilliant. On the bottom, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, there you go. It's got a headphone cutout for a 3.5mm jack and a cutout for a micro USB. It is, on the left hand side, it is the front part of the cover is connected to the back just by a piece of material. Now, I know someone who's got the same case, and this material does tend to get fractures in it and sort of rip. So it's not exactly the most sturdy material ever. But apparently there is a renewed version, which is called the final version of this case, which apparently has fixed that feature, although I have yet to test that case. Obviously I still have my original version, though I may consider RMAing this due to some damage. I don't use it to stand it up all that often, and even the few times I have has damaged the case. Don't know if you can see that there, where it's beginning to fray and split. But yes, this is one of the few cases, unlike the official case for the Nexus 7, which has a magnetic locking system, like the smart cover for the iPad. Basically, this comes down at the top and it's connected via magnets. When this flap is down, the magnets lock the tablet. When it's up, it automatically unlocks the tablet. There is a setting in Android which is required for you to do that. But again, you can see the build quality here isn't that great. I showed you Don't know if you can see that, but around this magnet there is some cracking of the plastic. So another reason that I might RMA it. Inside there is a nice feeling sort of velvet style interior. It's very nice to handle on the back when you've got it like that, and it does keep any scratches away from your Nexus 7. Now, I don't usually take it out of this case, but it is very difficult to get the Nexus 7 out. It's pretty easy to get it in. I'm going to show you now. You simply put your case down like that, and then just push on each corner to make sure that it goes in. But getting it out again is a bit of a bastard, if I'm honest. You can see here as I close, there you go, it's just locked. Okay, because the magnetic strip is actually there, and the magnetic field causes it to close a bit early. So if I do that, it doesn't actually unlock. If I do that, it does. So it's pretty good, but it's not the best one that I've ever seen. Apple has to take that for their unlocking system, which is practically brilliant. Right? So yeah, that's pretty much that. As I said, these buttons, I don't know if you can see here, are quite difficult to press, especially when you're not holding it like I am. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to have to move the camera for this bit, so I am going to show you it standing on the case. So if I just move my camera like that, you should be able to see it. There. Right, so this is the way. There are two ways of standing this up with the case on it. The first is to stand it up like that. With the auto rotation, there you go. It doesn't stick like the iPad Smart covers do, but it does stand up pretty well. It's not the most overly stable thing ever, and it does have a tendency to just roll back because it's not stuck back by a magnet. But if you leave it alone, it's pretty stable like that. You can just leave it on the surface and watch a movie or something on it. Yeah, that's pretty much that official way of standing that up. You can also stand it up like this. So you hold the cover like that, basically stick it down like that. This is good for when you want to type on the device. It's actually a pretty good way of doing it. Obviously you can stand it up like this with the case on it, but it wasn't designed for that, and it does sort of tend to wobble quite a lot, so I wouldn't recommend it for that. But yeah, pretty much that's the Poetic Slimline case. I will put a link to this review on the Amazon website in the reviews section for this case. I'm going to rate this 3 different ways. Value for money. £19. It's one of the best cases for the magnetic lock feature for the Nexus 7. So in terms of value for money, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the value of my money. In terms of aesthetics, it is a very nice looking case. It's very, very, as you can see, it's all this leather effect. It's a nice looking case. The leather effect unfortunately does tend to get damaged if you leave it near anything that's in like a bag or something that's going to scratch against it, but that's what you're going to get. Other than that, it's a nice feel, it's a nice looking case. I am actually going to give it a 9 out of 10 for the way it looks. It does, I didn't show you this earlier, it does have a nice little Poetic logo there on the front. That's pretty much the only thing that tells you who it's by. Now, sturdiness. While it's true that the case itself is very sturdy, the plastic is tough, and if I dropped it I wouldn't be too concerned about dropping on the floor like that, as it is quite tough. Having said that, the front part of the case, this flap, has a tendency to fall apart and rip, so I can't give it a very high mark for ruggedness. In terms of how well it protects the case, the device itself, I would give it a higher mark, but because of the fact that the front of it tends to fall apart, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for how rugged the case itself actually is. Okay, so as usual, like, favourite and share this video, and if you like it, leave comments. Any comments are useful for me. I mean, I had one comment in my first video that said pretty much use a tripod, which is what I'm doing now. Yeah, so leave any comments of ways you think I could improve my reviews, or any comments that you have in any other respect. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.